everybody. We are doing the Cloud9 press conference. And we are here with Oxy and Immi. But yes, sorry, I'm catching up on things, trying to see who's supposed to be going first. Okay, Adrian from the Spike. Looks like he is going first.
All right, hi guys. I'm Adrian from the Spike. Thanks for taking the time to do the press conference today. My question is mainly for Oxy, because you mentioned that like at the end of playoffs, kind of thought that it was mainly nerves that got to you, and one of the potential fixes was to have more of a designated hype man or more Vibes merchant. I was kind of wondering how the past 2 months have gone in that regard, and are things going to be any different should you guys make it to playoffs this time?
I don't know about different. Hopefully different, but I don't think we practice just like having a hype man. We just practice what we need to practice, because over the last 2 months we just focused on ourselves. We don't really need a hype man in practice and stuff like that when we just play. So not in that regard we haven't practiced anything, but I do feel like we have more of a foundation, so it will be easier in those matches. So we won't be as nervous.
All right, and then looks like our next question is going to be from Zobi or Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra Zobi, freelance esports commentator. This question goes over to Immi. You're kind of middle of the pack in terms of championship points, and many other teams in your position have made major or minor roster changes to turn their seasons around in hopes of making a deeper run for Paris. But you and C9, on the other hand, have shared the sentiment that this is a roster that has big potential but just needs time. With that, I wanted to give you the opportunity to share how you think the team has grown and changed with your time off and off-season events recently, so that you all can go on that deep run, because you need a better showing than kickoff for stage 1 to make that run for Paris.
Yeah, I think EWC was an eye-opener to us. We took our foot off the gas a little bit, but since then we've just been practicing really hard, making sure we build our foundations, and like the previous question about playoffs, just making sure we have everything that we need to. So our bad habits, we don't fall back on them. We now fall back on our foundation. So we just kept practicing that way. And that's the route we're going to go down going into playoffs.
Thank you, and good luck this stage.
Thank you. And Pedro, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, then, Pedro Romero, independent journalist. First off, thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to do this quick presser. I'm going to send this question over to Immi. We're also talking about the state of the game right now with the inclusion of growth, which I believe will be making its way into the professional level in stage 2. Just want to know from your point of view, what have been the things that stood out to you when it comes to playing that map? What do you feel is the biggest advantages that they show to a given team, and how will that affect the map pool going forward?
I think with any map, having the map in your map pool is really important going into vetoes. I don't want to talk about how the map plays or what's good on it, because then I'm giving things away. But just in general, having that map, making sure you're practicing that map, and having a good comp to get ahead of meta is probably the key to vetoes at the start of stage 2.
All right.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Yes, you can.
Okay. To both of you guys, I want to know, just out of curiosity, with the new stage coming up, and we already having a few teams making changes, off the top of my head, like Loud and then Leviathan and all that stuff. I want to ask you guys, what has been the biggest thing that stood out to both of you in regards to the new rosters? Do you feel like they are like threats coming into this league, or has there been other teams that kind of caught your attention that haven't made any changes to their lineup, so to speak?
Go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't really think anyone came in like that is like a big threat, I guess you would say, or like we made a big change to how like they'll be played as a team. So I think every team is still just the same team, because they didn't really change any big things other than like who made
Loud
changes?
changed the IGL.
Loud changed IGL. Oh yeah, okay. Loud maybe made a change, because they're the only one that made like a key role like the fucking IGL. So it'll be a whole different playstyle, I believe.
Yeah, I think Loud look decent, but I think the biggest improvement to me is going to be 2G. I think 2G are going to be really good. I think Spikes is very
Oh
good.
yeah, I expect
Yeah.
All right. And then Nerds Casts has a question for next.
Yo, Nerdscast independent freelance commentator and journalist. This question goes for both Immi and Oxy. Starting with Immi is just you said earlier about not giving away strats, but I keep up with the content. You boast out content, so I want to ask about that and like how has that helped you? How do you think that sometimes might hinder you? And that also kind of goes for Oxy as well. Is like how does content creation and like streaming and playing and like that work as a stress reliever and help you guys in the future?
You're the big streamer. You can go first.
For me, I guess streaming. I want to say it's a stress reliever, but it's just like playing ranked. It's just like I just turn off my stream and just play. Like I'm just playing normal rank. For me, it's not. It's not even really concentrated. I'm just playing the game and just having fun playing the game. But other than that, like other content, I guess like YouTube and stuff like that, I don't really think it interferes. I think it could help like me just play better too.
Immi?
Yeah, for me, well, I'll just hit on him. I like my players playing ranked and streaming. I think it's good for their brands. I encourage everyone to do that. Hopefully, they don't get burnout, and if they feel burnout, I always encourage a break. But I think it's really important for players to grow their brands. But for me, I haven't been able to stream that much recently. I do love streaming, and I love the content side of things. But I've just been working so hard on the team over these last 2 months that I haven't had much time to do that much. I think I've streamed like once a week, maybe.
Can I ask a little follow-up?
Yeah.
To kind of ask Immi, I also follow your TikTok. Do you think that helps? Of course, man. I see the corrode strats because we talked about we literally just talked about corrode. I'm like, I want to ask a bit about that specifically. Is like, do you think that you making those has hindered some of that? Like, have you given stuff away, or do you think that you purposefully don't make that much because you don't want to give stuff away?
No, I haven't given anything away, and yeah, I don't release anything on the new map just in case as well. So if it is released, it may or may not be used.
Everyone should go follow C9 Immi right now.
I agree.
Of course. Hey, thank you.
All right. Pedro Romero has another question. Pedro, are you ready?
You're muted, Pedro.
Yes, I am. I just had a little bit of a technical difficulties on that on my side. I'm gonna send this one over to Immi or also to Oxy if he wants to answer. Obviously, this year so far for C9 is kind of similar to past years in which you guys had made changes, had a pretty strong regular season, and then crash out in playoffs. And so, obviously, the goal for you guys at the very minimum is to not face that kind of same trajectory for stage 2, but nevertheless, there is that pressure for you guys to finally, go through that glass ceiling and finally make a deep run and potentially make champions. Do you feel like now for this stage specifically, there's much more pressure for you guys to do well, considering what has been going on with the team in the past and, the kind of things that you guys have been kind of like building on?
For me personally, I don't feel more pressure. What will be. I've learned to live in the moment and not worry about what's ahead. I do think no matter what happens, I've done the best work I've ever done as a coach leading into this split. So I'm really happy with it, and I don't feel any pressure right now. I think the team's really good, and the big difference is we have worked really hard going into this, and we do have really good structure moving forward now. We've just learned every year.
Yeah. I was about to say, honestly, for me, I think it's less pressure just because now that I've been there, like I've done it so many times now that I just understand like what's going to come, like the obstacles coming up. And I feel like now everyone is more ingrained, not just me. Like Vic has played now for a season. Everyone has played for a while. Well, at least a couple months now. And it's just like, we all know each other. We all know what to expect. And we've all been through playoffs together. So now we know what to expect for next time.
All right. It looks like Zobi has a question.
Yeah. Kind of building off of the last question, I just wanted to ask you guys what your goal mentality then coming into this stage is specifically, because I've asked this question to other teams and some are like just competing for the sake of competing and improving as a player. Others are like, we want the trophy now or a trophy now. We're not looking towards champs. We're not looking towards the future. What is it for each of you individually, like both as like an individual and maybe like an org level goal for this stage specifically?
For me, well, I want to make champs. Let's be real. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Like we've been working super hard. We're playing really well. We know we're on that level. We've proven it in regular season. But the goal for me is I work really hard on trying to get my players ready for the playoff games as well as the regular season games. I'm leading on a structure, so I just want my players to be able to perform and get over that hump in playoffs. And maybe I'm part of that hump too. You know, just making sure we're working on the playoff side of things. I think.
For me also, I think it's just the ultimate goal is definitely champs. I think it's just to qualify to have event has always been for me. And I think throughout the regular season, it'll just be just confidence. I think is will just bring us through all the way through. I think that's what will lead us mostly into playoffs that we need.
Nice. And then small follow up then. How would it be making that jump then from like regional to champs instead of, you know, all these other teams that have had like a Masters or two under their belt kind of over this course of the season?
I mean, how would we perform at the international?
And yeah, and how would you approach that, I guess? Those like differences or maybe, I guess, weakness because of that.
Like I said, we've just been working on the structure for the playoffs so we don't fall back on bad habits, because we've had times where we do fall back on bad habits, like we'll be in a 4v1 and someone will just go and try and win the round. Well, going to the international, I think me and Zepper have been there, so I think we just have to get there and we just have to play and feel it out and make sure we lean on our structure and we keep working hard. And I think everyone in this is the most hardworking team I've ever had.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Adrian from the Spike has a question, and it will be our last question.
Yeah. Hi guys. Yeah, just another question. So you mentioned like you've been working really hard, like scrimming and everything, like, and I assume you guys have played or scrimmed against like the EMEA teams, China teams as well, since they came to Toronto. Was kind of wondering like what you think about the narrative that's going on, like Americas is like regions right now, like especially now that you've sort of scrimmed them a bunch. Like, what do you think about the other regions, really?
We scrimmed them all, right? We
we
stayed when Toronto was on. We made sure we scrimmed. We didn't take a break so we could play all of these teams. And for me, Americas is still the best region overall. Like the only teams that we had close games or impressed me, shall we say, like really impressed me, was Fnatic and Paper X. Everyone else didn't feel that impressive.
One more thing, Genji was all. I think Genji was in form though.
Yeah, we scrimmed Genji once and Jesus.
Yeah, they're incredible.
All right.
Thanks. Glad to hear that.
All right. And then that will conclude our press conference with Cloud9. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.